What's up guys, Zio here with week 5 of the NES. Fingers crossed, I should actually have this one up during week 5, so I should hopefully be caught up on all my NES stuff now. This week we are taking on the Miami Heatran, coached by Nedo. All the important links will be down in the description below. He has a significantly better team than any other time that I've battled him. He drafted really well and has been using it really well this season. So I have to kind of play a little aggressively this week, as well as bring some stuff that I'm not 100% comfortable with. He has a lot of very good bulk, but I did notice that his main defensive core and Vaporeon Gliscor is horribly weak to freeze dry, which actually prompted me to make a couple of free agency moves up top. I talked about it a little bit at the end of last week's battle, so just go to the end of last week's battle if you want to hear more information. But I dropped Combuskin for Cryogonal and Galvantula for Darmanitan. Spoilers, are bringing both. I both have a good matchup this week, so I'm just going to bring both. But before I get into the rest of my team, Gengar, Chao, and Weavile are all really fast, really hard-hitting things that honestly my team actually kind of has a little bit of issues switching into all three. So I kind of expect all three to come. The Gliscor Vaporeon core, like I said, has been doing pretty well for him this season, so I expect to see that as well. And then the sixth Pokemon is probably gonna be Mega Scizor, just because it's his only form, or not his only form, but his best form of hazard removal. Like he also has Gliscor for Defog, but it can't run Poison Heal if it runs Defog, and he has Moltres for Defog, but lol, switching Moltres into rocks. I guess I could just get into it because I'm kind of more just talking about what I'm going to be doing this week. But first off, I have my main bulk for the week in Bulky AV Lantern. It did really well the first week. I brought it just kind of being a Soak Toxic switch in. But I noticed that its coverage is actually pretty decent this week. I can basically just spam Thunderbolt and Volt Switch after Gliscor is gone and do pretty decent damage to everything. Except for a Alolan Exeggutor, but I don't expect it to come, like, at all, to be honest. I prepped for it, but I don't really expect it to come. And then Volt Switch, Scald and Ice Beam are just there, mainly to catch the Gliscor or something else if I need. I'm mainly just going to be going for Ice Beam against that, but mainly this thing's specially defensive, or physically defensive with AV. For mixed defenses, I can take an Earthquake from Gliscor and just kill it with Ice Beam, which is nice. And it just kind of laughs off anything that Gengar or Aromatisse want to do, even without any defense investment, which is nice. Next up, we have Specs Cryogonal, which may be a little weird, I guess, but seems to work well in practice. He has a lot of stuff that's weak to this coverage on his team, and depending on what he brings, Cryogonal will either do nothing or it'll do a lot, which will be kind of fun to see, I guess. But like I said, Freeze Dry completely wrecks the Vaporeon Gliscor core. Flash Cannon hits Aromatisse, Weavile, and a lot of other stuff for neutral. Ice Beam's just stronger ice if I really need it. I'll kind of debate before the battle if I want to put something like Ancient Power on there instead. But right now it's Ice Beam, and it'll probably stay Ice Beam, I guess. And HP Fires to obviously catch the Scizor if I can. This speed investment allows me to outspeed basically anything I need to on his team. I'm not going to outspeed Weavile, but that's okay. I'll outspeed anything but a Scarfed Gliscor, which I'll be pretty surprised if he brings. Or I guess after it sets up an Agility, which is more likely, I guess. But I should obviously be able to bop it, and hopefully Vaporeon with a Freeze Dry. Next up, we have kind of standard Lopunny, I guess, Fake Out Return, Fire Punch, and Protect. A little weird that I'm running Protect, I guess, but I very much expect a Scarf from me and Chao this week. Just because I expect him to want to try to catch my Mega Lopunny on a high jump kick. Spoilers, I've done it a couple of times in practice, and it's looked pretty fun to protect on a predicted Scarf high jump kick. And to be honest, I want some high jump kick vengeance after the week where I missed 2 in a row. Or not 2 in a row, but 2. Next up we have a completely unoffensive Skarmory, which I'm not 100% comfortable with. I'm going to be honest and say I don't really remember what the speed investment was actually for, beyond it just being the standard Fizdef set. But I think it does outspeed something on his team if I remember right. I think it just gives me a little bit more against Scizor, I think. But Stealth Rock, Spikes, Whirlwind, and Roost just honestly does a ton to his team. Like I mentioned in the beginning, he doesn't really have reliable hazard removal if he doesn't bring it on Scizor. And Spikes do damage to everything but Gliscor and Moltres, so it's definitely worth it to bring those as well. On top of the Stealth Rock obviously being 4 times effective against Moltres and super effective against Weavile. It definitely helps to bring it, and then Whirlwind just to phase stuff out and do damage. This is honestly a very important member to my team in practice, so keep it alive, I guess. Next up we have Kepiaberry, Sylveon. Kepiaberry is the... I can't actually do it without ruining it. I have my screen super compressed right now to actually record all this with Camtasia, because Camtasia's been working a little bit better than just the standard OBS recording. The Kepiaberry is the Poison Berry. This is meant to basically stay in against a Gengar trying to go for Sludge Wave and kill it with Psyshock, pretty much. Hyper Voice, Hidden Power Rock for Moltres, because otherwise I could not touch Moltres at all. And Wish is there just to possibly pass stuff. I don't really see myself going for it, but it's possible. And finally, we have the other new member of the team, DK, the Darmanitan. Pretty standard Scarf, I guess, but standard Scarf works really well against his team. I wanted to run Fire Punch over Flare Blitz because it obviously still OHKOs Mega Scizor, and I just didn't really want the recoil from anything else. I'm probably going to actually use this a little aggressively because it's not 100% necessary, but it's a nice wall breaker to have early game just to weaken whatever team he ends up bringing. So since I'm actually doing this before the battle, I can actually predict his team for once, which is nice. I definitely predict Gengar, Chao, and Weavile for sure because they're his fast hard-hitting stuff. Mega Scizor seems pretty likely. And then I will probably just say the Vaporeon Gliscor core. I don't actually think he brings both, but if he does bring both, that'll be nice for me because crowd will go to town. But yeah, I will see you guys at the battle later.